Okay, we're going to get started. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Good. Nice smiling faces. You having a good day so far? A little rain outside. Nice place to be on a Saturday afternoon. We're going to take care of a couple housekeeping items first of all. My name's Terry Powell with the Entrepreneur Source. You have an evaluation form in front of you. And if you could fill that evaluation out before you leave within the next hour and hand it in at the back, the lovely young lady back there will have a brochure for you, which you'll find very helpful and informative, and also a certificate worth $400 in coaching with a certified franchise coach that can give you some great advice and pick up from where we leave off today to help you understand more about your options and discovering what type of franchise opportunities might fit you well. So if you pass that in at the end of the session, she'll be glad to hand that to you as you leave. Please turn off your cell phones and anything else, beepers or things that might make noise or distract you during the next hour that we have together. And please feel free to keep this interactive. I'm going to ask you for questions, ask you for feedback. Please speak up. I have a microphone, you don't, so it's a little hard for me to hear sometimes when you're asking questions or giving feedback. But you're here at the session dispelling the myths around franchising. So how many of you are here today because you're interested in becoming self-sufficient by possibly investing and owning your own business or franchise? Raise your hands. Okay, good. We got the right group in the right room. We're going to spend an hour together. You're going to have time at the end to ask questions. We're going to talk in between and have questions. But we're going to be talking to you from some 25 years of experience that I've had working with tens of thousands of individuals who believe they'd like to be self-sufficient, but when that turns into a conversation about becoming self-employed, they sometimes get quite concerned. How many of you have that fear of becoming self-employed? Raise your hand. Okay. Becoming self-sufficient is a desire that some 75% of the adult population have today. 75% of the adult population have a strong to very strong desire to be self-sufficient. Now, what's the difference between thinking about being self-sufficient that feels good and is exciting and shifts dramatically when you get to the idea of being self-employed? Anybody know? Self-sufficiency, being in control of your own destiny. Self-sufficiency, being able to take care of yourself and not have to worry about whether your employer or your retirement fund or your job's going to be around to do that. It's taking control of your destiny. That's what self-sufficient is like. And 70-some% of us have a natural desire to be self-sufficient. Now, if you go way back in time in our country, guess what most people were? Self-sufficient. Everybody provided for themselves. It was a great time. And then corporate America came around somewhere after the Industrial Revolution and convinced us all that they were the savior. And that if you follow corporate America and you give your soul to the job and the company, that they'll do what? Take care of you. Right, exactly. Now, how's that working for us? Not too well. Somewhere along the line, things changed. And the things that changed is we actually commissioned a third-party research firm to look at that, and what we found is that the current career economy, what we refer to as the new career economy, is what we're dealing with today, has a lot of pitfalls and a lot of risks associated with it, and that if you're invested in your current career economy, meaning the job market, you need to be aware that the future is not so bright. We're shifting ever so gradually in our society back to becoming self-sufficient. In fact, 75% of all the new jobs that have been created in the last decade or two have been created by small to medium-sized businesses, not big business. Just read in the paper this morning, another 250,000 jobs were lost. Pension plans are underfunded. A large percentage of the pension plans in place today will not be able to pay out on the commitments they have for your retirements and your pension funds. So if you're here today because you're frustrated or you're confused and you'd like to dispel some of the myths of being self-sufficient and turn that into an opportunity to be self-employed, you're in the right room. And we're going to talk you through some things that you might be struggling with or might have had perceptions or concerns or fears about that make you uncomfortable about the idea. Now, what's the number one thing that's keeping you from owning a franchise either in this room or somewhere else today? Money. Isn't that interesting? That comes up all the time. The number one thing that's keeping us from our dream of being self-sufficient and our goal of taking a business and treating it as a vehicle to help us become self-sufficient, there's something outside of ourselves that's in the way. Now, what's with the money deal? Why is that a problem? You don't have it. Okay, good point. Thank you. Isn't it interesting that we believe that we have to have the money in order to make a business work for us? But in fact, is that the case? What's one of the largest industries in our economy today? Banking, financing, funding. The SBA, the government are all focused on making sure that small to medium-sized businesses can get the money. By the way, there's no shortage of money, in case you haven't realized that. It's plenty out there. It's just a matter of getting your share of it and using it in the right way to leverage yourself into an opportunity called a franchise. So we're going to spend some time talking about that, dispelling the myths. Now entering the opportunity zone, please discard your preconceptions. What are preconceptions? Those are things that we've already predisposed in our mind that we refer to as seeker perception criteria. You're seeking opportunity, but you have perceptions and you've developed criteria that lead to preconceptions about things, which make us discount things. How many of you have walked through the entire exhibit hall so far? Okay. How many of you are walking up and down the aisle looking at the signs, looking at the booths, and in your mind saying, yes, no, maybe? Isn't that interesting how that works? How would we know walking up and down the aisle? Because you know how most people feel that they're going to know the right opportunity? How do you think most people answer that? Very good. Young lady up here says, I'll know it when I see it. That's what most of us believe. We think it's like falling in love. That we're going to walk up and down these aisles and through osmosis, something's going to happen that's going to give us a sign that we'll know which ones to talk to, which ones to eliminate, because we have preconceived ideas. Okay, how many of you want to own a business that goes out and cleans people's homes? Well, not if you're the one that's going to clean the homes, but it's a very, very viable business. So we're going to talk about some of these preconceived ideas.